Hello and welcome to the International Marine Debris Symposium. Thank you for all joining us today. My name is Jagoda and I'm the Oki Islands UNESCO Global Geopark employee and I will be your MC for today. This symposium is being held by the Oki Islands UNESCO Global Geopark and the Japanese Geoparks network, as both an activity of the Global Geopark Network Working Group on Island and Coastal Areas, Water and Ocean, and a contribution to the United Nations Ocean Decade. We are so glad to have you all with us today. We hope this symposium will be a chance for us all to face the issue of marine debris together and think about actions we can take towards solving it, both big and small. In the first session of today's program, we will hear from some of our colleagues in geoparks around the world about marine debris and the actions they are taking to fight it. In the second session, youth from geopark regions in Japan will introduce their projects and activities they are doing to fight the marine debris issue and protect our oceans. Finally, we will have a short message from various geopark areas around the world. Please see the handout provided for details about each presentation. To start today's program, we have a few words of welcome from our organizers. First, let's hear from Mr. Ikeda Kosei, the board chairperson of the Oki Islands Geopark Management Bureau. Mr. Ikeda, please go ahead.
I can hear you.
Yes, can everybody hear me in the online? Yes? Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Ikeda, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone.
ただいまご紹介をいただきました一般社団法人隠岐ジオパーク推進機構の理事長を仰せ使っております隠岐の島町長の池田でございます。開催地を代表いたしまして一言ご挨拶をさせていただきます。
My name is Kosei Ikeda. I am the board chairperson of the Oki Islands Geopark Management Bureau and the mayor of Okinoshima Town. I would like to say a couple of words on behalf of the organizers.
まずは今回の国際海洋ゴミシンポジウム in 沖の開催にあたり動画メッセージを送っていただきました世界ジオネットワークのニコラス・ゾウロス会長、アジア太平洋地域ジオパークネットワークの代表であるジン・シャウチン様をはじめご来島いただきました日本ジオパークネットワークの理事長である古川龍三郎島原市長様、日本ジオパーク委員会の中田委員長様、関係者の皆様に感謝申し上げます。
First, I would like to extend my gratitude to Professor Nicolas Zoros, the president of Global Geopark Network, and to Professor Jin Xiaoti, the coordinator of the Asia-Pacific Geoparks Network, for sending us their video messages for this symposium. I would also like to thank Mr. Furukawa Ryuzaburo, the president of the Japanese Geoparks Network and the mayor of Shimabara City, Professor Nakada Satsuya, the chair of the Japan Geopark Committee, and all the people involved with the geoparks in any capacity for joining us here today.
私どもが住む日本列島は海に囲まれた離島であり、この隠岐の地も日本海に浮かぶ4つの有人島と180余りの無人島によって構成された諸島であることから、 離島という沖を取り巻く環境に含まれる海洋生物や漁業などの人の営みをジオパークとして取り入れているため、陸域だけではなく海域もジオパークの範囲としております。
Our home, Oki Islands, are a part of Japanese archipelago. They are located in the Sea of Japan and consist of 4 inhabited and about 180 uninhabited islands. The surrounding area with its ecosystem, the role of fisheries industry in the lifestyles and traditions of the people are all integral to the remote islands environment of Oki. For this reason, the area of Oki Geopark encompasses both the islands and the marine area, up to 1 kilometer away from the coastline.
私たちは古来から豊かな海の恵みによって育まれてきましたが、近年の地球温暖化や海洋ゴミによって海を取り巻く環境は厳しいものとなっております。
Raised so close to the sea, we have been relying on marine resources since long ago. However, in recent years, islands and coastal areas are being affected by such issues as global warming and marine debris.
こうした状況に対しまして、2017年の第72回国連総会において採択された持続可能な開発のための国連海洋科学の10年のスタートの年である2021年11月にここ沖におきましてキックオフイベントを開催させていただき、日本ジオパークネットワーク島根県立沖高等学校の生徒とともに国連海洋科学の10年における JGN 取り組み宣言を発表させていただきました。
With that in mind, in November 2021, we hosted here in the Oki Islands a Kickstarter event for the Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development that was proclaimed by the 72nd United Nations General Assembly. During this Kickstarter event, Japanese Geoparks Network and the students from Shimane Prefectural Oki High School presented together the Declaration of JGN's initiatives for the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development.
沖ではジオパーク活動以前から海洋漂着ゴミに関する取り組みを行っており、毎年海の日の前後の日曜日に各地域で一斉に海岸漂着ゴミの撤去作業を行っておりますが、ゴミを回収することが重要ではなく、ゴミを出さないことが重要であります。
Even before Oki Islands received designation as a geopark, efforts have been made to tackle the problem of marine debris here, with local communities taking part in beach cleanup activities every year on the occasion of Marine Day, one of Japanese national holidays. However, the crux of the issue is not removal of the waste from the shores, it is preventing it from entering the seas in the first place.
また、海岸漂着の約8割が河川から流れ出たものであることから、離島や海岸地域の人たちだけが海洋環境問題に取り組むのではなく、地球に住む私たち一人一人が海洋環境について考えなければなりません。
80% of marine debris washed ashore is estimated to enter the oceans from rivers. That means marine debris is a problem not only of people living in the islands and coastal areas. Everyone around the world should be made aware of it.
今回のシンポジウムでの取り組みがこれからを担う若者たちに引き継がれ、そして離島沖での活動が日本各地での活動となり、さらには世界的な活動に広がることを記念し、私のご挨拶とさせていただきます。 2023年3月11日、隠岐ジオパーク推進機構理事長池田康生、ありがとうございました。
I wish the efforts discussed during this symposium will be taken over by the younger generations, and the good practices from remote Oki Islands will be adopted in all Japan and all around the world. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Ikeda. Next, we will hear from Mr. Furukawa Ryuzaburo, the president of the Japanese Geoparks network. Mr. Furukawa, please go ahead.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the president of the Japanese Geoparks network, Ryuzaburo Furukawa. I'm also the mayor of Shimabara City and the president of the Unzen Volcanic Area UNESCO Global Geopark. I'd like to thank you all for participating in the International Marine Debris Symposium. In Japan, we have 9 UNESCO Global Geoparks and 37 Japanese National Geoparks. All of them, 46 in total, are the regular members of the Japanese Geoparks network. Many of them are facing the ocean, and inland geoparks have rivers flowing through them, connecting them to the ocean. We think it's very important to take action to solve the problem of marine debris and coastal garbage, and to protect the rich environments of our oceans, to expand these actions from individual regions to a common endeavor in Japan as a whole, and to help contribute to society. We announced the declaration of JGM initiative for the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development in November 2021, together with students at Shimane Prefectural Oki High School. We created the slogan for this symposium: facing large global problems start with the actions of a small region. From our first step and through each and every connection, let's start a movement to change the world. I hope this symposium will be an opportunity for all of us to think about ocean conservation and to find appropriate actions we can take to protect the rich marine environment of each of our regions through geopark activities. Finally, I'd like to extend a warm thank you to the host of this symposium, the Oki Islands UNESCO Global Geopark, and to all of our partners and friends who have cooperated to make this symposium possible. Let's learn together and enjoy the symposium. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Furukawa. Next, we have a message from Professor Nicolas Zoros, who is here with us online today. Professor Nicolas Zoros is the president of the Global Geoparks Network. Professor Zoros will speak about the Global Geoparks program and Global Geoparks Network. Please give him your attention.
Dear colleagues, dear participants of the Marine Debris Symposium 2023, it's a great pleasure and honor to greet in the name of the Global Geoparks Network This initiative, this meeting, organized by the Japanese Geoparks Network and the Oki Island UNESCO Global Geopark. The theme of this symposium lies in the heart of the issues which the Global Geoparks Network, the International Association of the UNESCO Global Geoparks, is placing in its agenda for the years to come in order to achieve the building of sustainable communities through the utilization of our heritage hosting in our territories, including geological heritage of international significance. I was invited to present the history and the activities of the Global Geoparks Network, and I will try to make it briefly as following. UNESCO Global Geoparks are a new initiative of UNESCO for the valorization of the geological heritage lying in different parts of the world, in territories which may use this heritage as a tool for sustainable local development. Earth heritage was always an important issue in the frame of nature conservation. Unfortunately, geological heritage was not a part till recently of the international movement of natural conservation. In 1991, UNESCO, recognizing the lack of an international framework on geological heritage, organized an international symposium in France with the participation of colleagues all around the globe. And in this symposium, the International Declaration on the Rights of the Memory of the Earth was adopted. The Global Geoparks Network was founded just 1 decade after this conference in 2004. We had the first international conference on UNESCO Global Geoparks, which was organized by UNESCO with the contribution of several other organizations and associations in earth sciences with 25 members. This initiative, the foundation of the Global Geoparks Network in 2004, lie under the umbrella of UNESCO. 10 years after, in 2015, UNESCO, at the 38th General Conference, adopted the proposal for the establishment of the International Geosciences and Geoparks Program, and at that meeting, the UNESCO Global Geoparks became the third site designation of UNESCO. Nowadays, 177 geoparks in 46 countries exist. 94 of them are in Europe, 66 in Asia and Pacific, 10 in Latin America and Caribbean, 5 in North America, and 2 in Africa. We do know that the distribution, the geographical distribution of the UNESCO Global Geopark are not the appropriate, because we have areas, geographical areas, which are not covered. But we are working hard in order to expand this global network to meet the goals of the international community, and especially the Sustainable Development Goals. Geoparks is a new innovative concept using earth heritage protection and management as part of the holistic approach of Geoparks promotion and utilization as a new tool for sustainable local development. The Global Geoparks Network is an international association including all the UNESCO Global Geoparks, which works through networking, collaboration and sharing of best practice among its members. We do have several insular and coastal geoparks in our network. Among the 178 geoparks, many of them are lying along the coast or in islands. We are very proud of these insular UNESCO Global Geoparks, which are facing a variety of challenges for the years to come. Among them is the pollution of the sea and the oceans. And it is of highest importance for us to address this issue, which affects in various ways the activities of the geopark, and especially those along the coastal area or in the shallow marine park. Because the debris, the ocean debris, are coming to our coasts and destroy the efforts for creating good conditions for the development of sustainable tourism in our territories. According to UNESCO, UNESCO Global Geoparks must be single, unified geographical areas where sites and landscapes of international geological significance are managed with an holistic concept of protection, education, and sustainable development. A geopark has several resources. The geopark heritage includes all types of heritage: geological heritage, ecological heritage, cultural heritage, both tangible and intangible. Another resource for the geoparks is our communities. Is the reason why geoparks are valorizing their heritage, trying to create conditions for a better life of the communities living in our geoparks. This is our human capital, and we need to invest to our people and to invite them to participate in an holistic management of our heritage. That's why geoparks select to work with a bottom-up approach, engaging the local communities in their management. Geoparks also have a sustainable development strategy, including various actions towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Geoparks host outstanding natural landscapes, which may help to explain the history of our planet, which may help the people to understand why we live in a living planet with various geotectonic challenges which may create also hazards. In geoparks, we learn about the operation of our planet, and we learn also how to avoid and how to be protected from natural hazards. Geoparks, by hosting outstanding landscapes, may attract visitors to come to our territories in order to share what we value most, which is the identity of our territories. From Europe to Asia and Pacific, from Latin America to North America and Africa, till Oceania, everywhere there are fantastic landscapes which help us to understand the processes of our planet. And these are outstanding landscapes keep the secrets of the evolution of our planet and the evolution of life on our planet. These outstanding landscapes are landmarks in Earth history and human evolution, but also life evolution, because in geoparks we have fossils that show us the evolution on life on Earth. Geoparks are also explain us the history and the evolution of the ocean, as in some cases they host very specific structures that show us the evolution and the development of the oceanic floor. But geoparks are also hosting unique natural ecosystems. From the northernmost Rockwell Geopark in Finland till the mangrove forest in the equator in Langkawi Geopark in Malaysia, all types of ecosystems are hosted in our geoparks. Some of our geoparks are hosting hotspots of global biodiversity, but also geoparks are hosting endemic species and rich ecosystems. We learn how to protect these ecosystems by protecting our geological heritage. Geoparks are also hosting cultural heritage in different parts of the globe. Monasteries, sacred places, everywhere are important elements of the heritage of a geopark. And sometimes in geoparks we learn that geological conditions may play a key role for the stability and conservation of cultural monuments. Geoparks have adopted the agenda of the United Nations, the Sustainable Development Goal, as an agenda show us that our activities for the protection of our heritage, for the protection of the environment, for the protection of biodiversity, for the protection of our cultural heritage, the activities that we are doing for the development of sustainable tourism, the activities that we are doing for supporting the sustainable development of our local communities through geotourism, through tourism which is oriented towards the natural beauty and its understanding, which is hosted in our geoparks, are activities which led to the sustainable development of the geopark territories. Our challenges in geoparks is to connect geoparks with the society and the big challenges that our societies are facing. Geoparks have to prove that they are fulfilling their mission on territorial, natural and cultural heritage protection and enhancement, and in contribution to the sustainable local development through their effective operation, implementation of specific action, and the creation of measurable results. Geoparks are working for the conservation of their geological heritage, for nature conservation, for building community resilience on natural disasters and climate change, to develop educational programs focusing on nature conservation, for developing geotouristic activities, and in general for the sustainable development of our local community, raising visibility of our territory through the promotion of the achievements and benefit for the local communities in rural areas and the society at large. Geotourism is a very important issue for geoparks. A geopark creates visitors' experiences that allow them to share what we value most about territories in such a way as to preserve and protect the regions for the generations to come. And in order to develop tourism activities, geoparks need to work firstly for the clean environment, for a clean sea. That's why this symposium that is trying to explain how the geoparks are contributing to the reduction of the debris in the oceans, how geoparks are contributing to clean sea initiatives is extremely important for us. And I would like to congratulate the organizers for this wonderful opportunity to present UNESCO Global Geopark in this symposium. Permit me to show you some examples on how geoparks are contributing to this agenda. Geoparks are promoting their heritage also at the coastal areas. Geoparks are organizing, for example, boat cruises and explain the connection between the human communities, the land, and the sea. We have such activities, for example, in Basque Coast, UNESCO Global Geopark, which is one of our coastal geoparks, and the same at the Shetland Island geoparks in the United Kingdom. The same we have by GeoCruise organizing in Hong Kong UNESCO Global Geopark. Or we promote coastal earth heritage through tourism activities in Oki Islands in Japan, through geokayaking. But also underwater geodiversity is promoted in geoparks like Lanzarote UNESCO Global Geopark in Spain, where we have scuba diving in lava tubes, or whale watching in Azores UNESCO Global Geopark in Portugal. We also have geosnorkeling activities in Beigua UNESCO Global Geopark in Italy, where we organize activities to explain the geoheritage which lies underwater. And of course, there is a lot of cultural activities organizing in UNESCO Global Geoparks, combining the geological heritage with the local culture and especially with the intangible cultural heritage of different regions. The Global Geoparks Network has a variety of promotional tools in order to promote geoparks and their activities all over the globe. We use our websites and social media in order to promote activities of the geoparks and raise awareness to the general public on the activities of the geoparks. We have also published an electronic magazine, and we try to present through this the activities that geoparks are doing for the protection of the environment especially along the coastal and insular areas included in our network. The Global Geoparks Network takes the opportunity of the celebration of the International Days in order to encourage local communities to work for a sustainable future, with small actions at a small place, like the 177 geoparks. We are trying to encourage our community to work all together for a better and sustainable future. The Global Geoparks Network is supporting through all its activities the development of the UNESCO Global Geoparks as a quality brand. I wish to thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Zoros, for taking your time to record the message and also join us today online. And if you have anything to add, we would love to invite you to speak.
Good morning from Greece. It's an excellent opportunity, this symposium, to underline the role of UNESCO Global Geoparks for protecting the marine environment. The protection of sea is extremely important for all the planet. And I would like once again to congratulate Oki Islands UNESCO Global Geopark, but also the Japanese Geoparks Network and the Japanese Committee for supporting this great initiative. And I would like also to say that all the members of the islands and coastal areas working group of the Global Geoparks Network will take benefit from the activities of Oki Islands for this symposium and all the other initiatives that will come. Warm congratulations from all the members, the 177 members of the Global Geoparks Network, and please keep your excellent work to join and to present the problems, but also the solutions of all the marine and coastal areas joining the Global Geoparks Network. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the next message video we have is from Professor Jin Xiaochi, who is the coordinator of the Asia-Pacific Geoparks Network. Professor Jin will speak about the marine debris issue from the perspective of the Asia-Pacific Geoparks Network. Please give him your attention.
Dear Geoparks colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to speak here. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers to give me this chance. Today, my brief talk will be on tackling marine debris from an APGN perspective. I'm also very happy to say that this symposium is also a practical contribution to the United Nations Ocean Decade. In order to briefly explain what marine debris is and why it matters, I'd like to quote some words from NOAA's Marine Debris Program. Here we say, our oceans are filled with items that do not belong there. Huge amounts of plastics, metals, rubber, paper, textiles, and derelict fishing gear, and derelict vessels and other lost or discarded items enter the marine environment today All these are called marine debris. And this makes marine debris one of the most widespread pollution problems facing the world's ocean and waterways. However, it is most important to remember that marine debris is preventable. This global problem is caused by our people, and we can also be the solution. So look at the right side of this slide. These pictures show a marine debris washed up on a beach at the Egypt coast. Also, the United Nations Environment Programme warns that our planet is choking on plastic. If we do not take effective measures to counter the pollution, the consequences would be very serious. The United Nations Environment Programme says it is estimated that 1,000 rivers are accountable for nearly 8% of global annual riverine plastic emissions into the ocean, which range between 0.8 and 2.7 million tons per year, with small urban rivers amongst the most polluting. All these are alerting us to take actions without any delay. But we do take action. Today we gather here to hold this marine debris symposium. This is a very good action. This symposium takes place very timely to show geoparks can do a lot in tackling marine debris, to share good practices amongst the geopark communities, to inspire more ideas and activities of keeping marine environment clean. As you know, Asian Pacific regions cover a large marine area. Many members of APGN with marine and all coastal areas may face the problem of marine debris. To look at these maps, geoparks in Indonesia are on islands, large or small. Here, 2 APGN members in Malaysia and Thailand are on islands and coast areas. Geoparks in Japan have a similar situation. And here we have Jeju Island UNESCO Global Geoparks here. And here we have Oki Islands UNESCO Global Geoparks. All these are on islands and also with coast areas. I hope this symposium will be a good start of more and constant activities in APGN to tackle marine debris. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, during this symposium, Oki Island UNESCO Global Geopark and other Japanese geoparks will share their experiences, good practices, and also the lessons learned in tackling marine debris. Good examples will be followed by other members of APGN. At this moment, I wish this symposium a great success. wish all the participants a fair reward. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Jin, and thank you also for joining us today online through Zoom. We are very happy that you are here with us. And also I would like to invite you, if you have any message you would like to add, please feel free to tell us.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the OK Ireland and Japanese Geoparks network to hold this symposium. This provides a very good platform for our members to know what is happening, what we are doing to tackle the debris, marine debris. And I think geoparks have different aspects. In different aspects, we have very good practices. But in this aspect of tackling marine debris, I think OK Ireland UNESCO Global Geopark and GGN will set us a very good example in this aspect. And I also hope this will arouse all our members here in the Asia-Pacific region to join you to tackle the marine debris on a larger scale, in the APGN scale. There is also will set examples for our members within GGN. Thank you very much. I wish you all a successful meeting here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Jin. And next, we would like to invite Professor Nakada Setsuya, the chair of the Japan Geopark Committee, who will speak about man-made disasters versus natural disasters. Please welcome Professor Nakada, who is here with us today in person.
Switch. Yeah, already. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Yamada-san. So, dear friends and ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to hear. So, I'm honored to show you my presentation related to my research, also related to marine debris, especially related to marine plastic. So, first of all, I would like to say give great congratulations on holding this nice international symposium on marine debris, and also my great appreciation to the organizer, OK Island UNESCO Global Geopark and related person, and also Japanese Geopark networks. And this is a good chance welcoming Professors Nicolas Zoros and Jin Shaoqi, and our colleagues in Europe, Asia, and Japan online. Okay, let's start my talk. Thank you. So, title is Man-made disaster versus natural disaster. In here, the man-made disaster is microplastic in the sea, and natural disaster is volcanic eruption. So, the topics is what we have learned from the natural disaster about marine debris. The left-hand side is natural disaster we experienced last year. So here's a picture of marine port filled in Okinawa, filled by floating pumice. Pumice is a whitish, the porous volcanic rock which float on water. And the right-hand side is well known, the marine debris. So Japan was threatened with pumice drifting ashore the last year and to last year. And drifting PAMS look like marine debris, so we felt a very great threat. And this event gave us a good opportunity to rethink marine debris. So before talking about that, so this is a background, so showing carbon emission and also the production temporal increase of the plastic. So the carbon emission, this is the reason of global warming, created by the burning of fuel, the oil and coal. So plastic also made from the oil, and the production rate increased with time. And 300 million tons of plastic are produced every year, and 80% of them become waste, landfill, or left in natural environment. So mismanagement, managed waste is entering into the oceans. So at least 14 million tons of plastic flow into the ocean every year. So the amount increases with time. So it's a very serious issue we have. So now this is the reason of PAMS raft in the Okinawa. The reason is submarine eruption we experienced 2 years ago. The Fukutoku Okanova is 1,200 kilometers south of Tokyo. And this was a very great the eruption. The extent is VI4 is this is the largest eruption for these 100 years in Japan. Very rare case. And this is a satellite image seen from the sky. So the PAMS cone is a PAMS pile just above the sea level. Appeared after the eruption. So this PAMS cone disappeared with time due to the sea erosion. So lower left, you can see the floating PAMS raft just started from this volcano. And this drifted towards the west, towards the Okinawa. And this PAMS cone disappeared by early January last year due to the sea erosion. So the source completely, drifting PAMS completely appeared the last January. And Okinawa had a very heavy PAMS raft in October. This is just 2 months after the eruption. And this continued the late March last year due to the 2 months after the disappearance of the volcano. So in November, PAMS was drifted south of Tokyo and also on north coast of the Philippines and also eastern coast of Taiwan. And there, PAMS was also observed in Thailand also. So drifting PAMS damaged significantly fishing, sea transportation, and tourism. So the image of PAMS drifting is shown here in the middle diagram. Lower right is the source of the floating PAMS. This is the volcano of Fukutoku Okanova, and the pink arrows indicate the drifting course of PAMS. So PAMS reached Okinawa and then turned to the upper right, drifting riding on the sea current closure, and reached to the islands south of Tokyo. So the topics is shown here. This is grain size. Grain size is shown in this diagram. Vertical axis is percentage, and horizontal axis is size. The right-hand side is smaller in size. So the even Okinawa and even is island is a 4,000 kilometer traveling, but the distribution pattern is very similar. This is very interesting. And there is a lower limit. Lower limit is 1.5 millimeter. So below that, so the PAMS start sinking down to the sea bottom. So the PAMS, the air bubble, which is served as a floater during drifting, was broken due to the when it was crushed. So right hand side is microplastic showing a similar pattern, but the lower limit is much smaller than PAMIS. For example, 0.2 millimeter or less is the lower limit. So very interesting, but so the specialist doesn't know exactly why. So the volume percentage of microplastic decreased in the smaller size. So they believe finer particle of microplastic is swallowed by marine organisms, and their excretion directly settled down on sea bottom. So when we compare the PAMIS and the microplastic, as you know, the PAMIS is the natural material consisting of glass, natural glass and crystal. The specific gravity is more than 2, very heavy than the surrounding water. But right on the side is the microplastic. The specific gravity is very close to water. So that this is a good reason microplastic drifting a long time in seawater. And the second, the PAMIS is natural stone and visible, and some of them can be removed by human hands. But right on the side, micropAMIS is inorganic, invisible, most difficult to remove. So third, the PAMIS stone drift is not very frequent. So as I said, this is an event of 100 years in Japan. So right on the side, plastic continued to enter the oceans every year, so that there's a continuous accumulation of microplastic in the ocean. So the showing left is removing PAMIS from the seaport, and the middle is the clean beach PAMIS. But this guy said, I don't think that PAMIS is bad because it is a part of Earth's activity. But right on the side is marine debris, very serious issue. And the concluding remarks is first, marine education is important to learn these things and to promote green energy instead of the burning oil and producing plastic. The first, prevention of plastic runoff into river and ocean, and usage of as little plastic as possible. And the third is strict rule for its plastic disposal. So those are very important to learn. And the second is cleaning up beach and river banks. Today I just joined the clean beaching, the cleaning up beach today. And those are very small effort, but very small to eliminate marine plastic, but it is very effective in raising people's awareness, our awareness of marine pollution and also environmental destruction. So, as I said, visible drifting PAMIS was useful in discussion about marine pollution by feeling the direct threat of marine pollution rather than the invisible microplastic. So Geopark activity and the philosophy are very important to solve the environmental issue on the globe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Nakada, for your presentation. And I think we have a time for one question maybe. So if someone gathered here today would like to ask a question, please feel free to. And of course, everyone joining us online, if you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand.通訳の方もいますので、日本語で質問していただいて通訳することができます。Okay, so it seems there is no question, so we will move now to the next presentation. Thank you again, Professor Nakada, for your presentation. Okay. And now we will move to specific examples of activities carried out in global geoparks around the world. Our first example is from Shetland UNESCO Global Geopark, an island geopark located in the United Kingdom. They have been working on the marine debris issue for years and will be sharing about their experience with us today. There will be a few minutes for questions at the end, so make sure to prepare some questions. And please turn your attention to Solene's presentation.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming to my talk, Remoteness, Litter and Best Practices, the Case of Shetland UNESCO Global Geopark. I'm Solene Patel and I'm Project Officer at Shetland Amenity Trust. But first, let's travel from the Oki Islands in the seas of Japan to the Shetland Islands on the other side of the globe, which are the most northerly islands in the UK. So Shetland is located in the middle of the North Sea. You can see it in the red circle on the map, and you can really see how important large ocean currents are influencing Shetland. So we are really strongly connected to the North Atlantic current, especially from the Gulf Stream. They're then crossing the North Atlantic and go above Scotland and then to us. But we're also well connected to the local current in the North Sea and also the currents that travel around Shetland along the continental shelf. So those big currents are bringing specific type of marine litter, for example, lobster tag, that you can see in the picture here coming from Newfoundland, but also other type like scientific buoys that are traveling, released from the North America and traveling all the way across the North Atlantic, collecting data to study our climate. So locally, we're connected also to a really complex link of currents, which influence our connectivity to other places such as Faroe Island, but Norway, and especially Scotland, England and Ireland. In Shetland, storms and gales occur also really often, so especially in winter, which will bring an increase in marine litter that's wash up on our shores, but also increase the issues with local waste management, as like strong storms and gales really increase the amount of unconscious littering. To set the Shetland context, it's also important to mention the aquaculture and fishing industry, as they are important economic inputs for local communities, but also represent an important part of the marine litter that is collected locally. In addition, fishing activities is really really concentrated in the north of the North Sea around Shetland, as you can see in the background picture, where bottom trawling fishing intensity is really highly located around Shetland, which will then increase the amount of potential fishing gear that will wash up on our shore. In addition, important tension exists between local fishermen and European boats, which are permitted to come in large number and are reported to be blocking traditional fishing ground. But while economic and cultural tension are created, it also linked with issue that is reported as those boats discard fishing nets. That's mainly gill nets and long line, and that is feeding into the ghost net pollution and harming marine life. So this shows that there is need for stronger restriction and legislation that need to be put in place. So while Brexit has had a big impact to work with other EU countries, new incentives are needed to ensure these discards are stopped, as a lot of those gill nets have been collected locally and represent a really high harmful impact on marine wildlife. So as you could understand, Shetland is isolated in the North Sea and far removed from the centralized waste management from Scotland. That in the past increased the amount of fly tipping as people in the local community had no means to deal with the waste. For example, this picture showed proof that you can still see the remnant of that, as I took this picture last year in 2022. So that's why one of the main reasons why the Shetland Amenity Trust was set up in 1985. It was to look after Shetland's heritage, so cultural heritage and natural heritage, but also to help the community to be able to deal with this kind of issues. That's led in 1986 to the first muck and bruk squad that was helping the local community to deal with the waste and find solutions, such as, for example, collecting abandoned cars and relocate them to Scotland, where the waste and, for example, abandoned car can be dealt with properly. So after the Nachak Bruk was created, anti-litter project coordinator was hired in 1987 and worked really hard to create the first Davor Red Up that happened in 1988. So Davor Red Up means the spring cleanup in Shetlandic, and this person and the trust, the Shetland Amenity Trust, worked really hard to develop the Davor Red Up and make sure it was adopted in the local culture. So from creating a mascot that is called Midni the Mali. So Mali is a northern fulmar in Shetlandic that was produced as a cartoon in the local newspaper, to also going into school, creating activities with the community group. This really ensured that the Davor Red Up was like a new tradition locally and really part of the community and owned by the community. So why Davor Red Up works so well? So one important part with the Davor Red Up is that at the start, then suddenly the community understood how much marine litter is occurring in Shetland, and how important it is to remove it to protect local wildlife, but also to just keep Shetland clean, and so we can enjoy it to the fullest. So that's really gave a really big pride in the initiative from the local community, because the entire community in Shetland is getting together and cleaning up all those miles of beaches and roads. So it's really an initiative that's been put in place by Shetland Amenity Trust, but now it's really owned by the community, and every year the same group get together and clean up like their local beaches. The one thing is also now it's been 35 years in operation, so it's really part of the local events. So everybody knows that every spring that's going to happen again. But one thing we really learned, it was in 2020, during the COVID period, Shetland Amenity Trust joined forces with Marine Conservation Society, which is a UK charity. But local communities really registered the fact that they didn't really enjoy that, because it felt like it wasn't their initiative anymore, and they were kind of losing the ownership of it. And for example, the survey was different, and that's something now we really keep in mind, and that can be a good lesson from the Davor Red Up in Shetland. The more the initiative is owned by the community, and the more it's going to be resilient in the future, and people will keep doing it. But to learn more about Davor Red Up, you need also to learn some of the facts. So here is a selection of a video that was created by Promote Shetland, and that's also a really good way for you to enjoy a true Shetland accent and not a French accent. So just sit back and enjoy the video.
I think people enjoy making a difference.
And the children, it's good for them to learn to keep Shetland tidy.
Since it started, it's been a massive community event.
From Unst all the way down to Fair Isle, more than 4,500 volunteers participate. That's more than 20% of Shetland's population. Community groups, businesses, schools, and individuals, all pitching in to pick up litter.
We thought that it would help if we took part in Red Up, because we can get our boat
to places that are maybe a bit more inaccessible and clean up some beaches there. Part of the idea of doing secluded beaches isn't so much that people will get to see it, but a lot of this brook that's lining the beach will get washed back into the sea at some point.
In a year, participants collect approximately 60 tonnes of rubbish from Shetland's roadsides, beaches and coastlines. The bagged brook is then hauled off, sorted and catalogued. Per head of population, the Vore Ride-Up is the largest community-based voluntary clear-up in the UK.
But it's not only waste collection that matters, but also solution. So how to stop the marine litter entering the marine environment in the first place. So as a solution, first you have repurposing, so transforming a waste before it's become litter, or in this case marine litter. So for example in Shetland, the salmon aquaculture is a really important industry, but the cages use plastic tubings, and you can reuse it to give them a second life. So for example, Polycrab, which is a local business, is using those tubes to create hard shell polytunnels, and then gives a good second life to those tubes. So those polycrabs are like so well resistant to the weather, they're even sold from Shetland to Iceland and even Falkland Islands in the South Atlantic. But another purpose for those tubes can be used during peatland restoration work. So to give a support to the machinery, you need a bog mat, which protect the peatland while the machinery is working on site. Peatland is a really important environment in Shetland. It represents 50% of natural habitat here, and 70% is been degraded. So that's a really important repurposing solution locally, because then will help another type of projects that helping the environment. Another solution is local initiative with fishermen. So, for example, here, KIMO, which is a network of European governments working together to protect the marine environment and support cleanup operation, has a flagship project called Fishing for Litter, which is a simple idea to create a network of fishing boats who are given hard-wearing bags and collect marine litter caught during their normal fishing activities, so they can bring it back to shore, where harbour staff ensure correct disposal of the waste, but also repurposing of the waste. It's been active in Shetland, in Scotland, across the UK, but also internationally. So there's a lot of other European boats that are part of the initiative. Locally, it's been active in Lerwick Port, in Scalloway, and also in Clivo harbours. So since the start in Shetland in 2005, there's been 59 tons collected, which also is represents 130,000 pounds or 2 loaded semi-trucks. In Scotland, it has been in operation since 2004 within 54 harbours with over 380 vessels and collected over 2,000 tonnes to this date. While they struggle to continue the programme due to the UK leaving the EU, a successful partnership has been formed with industries. The funding supports the disposal of the waste, but the main limitation is that only 4% can be recycled due to lack of repurposing projects. However, some small-scale projects which are transforming this waste in usable material could be taken to the next stage, dealing with more waste. This is where Scottish Island Federation come in force by creating the link between each actors and pushing local authorities to act and enable streamlined logistics to be able to move the waste and enable more projects to transform it. So Scottish Islands Federation also play an important role in collecting data with citizen scientists, which is shared with Marine Conservation Society and collated to be used by Marine Scotland, which is a Scottish government agency applying policy and can influence local legislation and local policy that will then reduce the amount of marine litter occurring locally. So the Scottish Island Federation is a really important hub for all the islands from Shetland to the Outer Hebrides and the Inner Hebrides, but also Orkney, to work together and network and support each other against marine litter. But we need to look ahead and carry on with the local initiative and working on the solution. So we need to continue local red-ups, which are the spring cleanup of the roadside and beaches in Shetland. But we also need to step up the education, which will be the main impacts on future generation, so they can learn about the issues and also develop new solutions and support new solutions. And we also need, obviously, to support the local initiative and the incentive and create new incentive to reduce litter and repurpose wastes locally, but also nationally, and connect with other projects. And we need also to fight for legislation and action from the government to stop the marine litter issue. So that's all from Shetland for now. Thanks a lot for listening. I hope you have some questions, and I'm really looking forward to answer any of them. I will now leave you to go back slowly to the seas of Japan, to the beautiful Oki Island. And thank you very much again for listening to this presentation.
Thank you very much, Solène, for your presentation. And I would like to invite everyone to ask any question or maybe make a comment. And also everyone online, if you would like to ask a question, please let us know. ともちろん通訳もしますので、日本語での質問も可能です。So since everyone seems to be very shy, I will maybe start asking one question from me. I was very impressed that your activities have been going on for such a long time, and they seem to be very strongly owned by the local community. So it made me wonder, what is the current role of the Geopark in that community, very strongly, the activity that is very strongly led by the community. So if you could tell us some more maybe information about how the Geopark engages the community and supports them in their activities.
Hi, thanks for having me first. And basically the role of the Geopark in this initiative now is mainly coordinating and organizing and helping the community for the events to go well every year, and organizing, for example, the litter pickup and kind of like making the link between the council and the different community groups that take part in the events. But it's true that now there's such a strong synergetic that there's not a strong input into the event. But we also looking forward to use so we're doing also a survey at the end. So we kind of try to also gather data that's going to be helpful to inform the community of what they found, and year to year to see if there is a trend. And we can also give this data to Marine Conservation Society that's kind of use this data to then feed into Marine Scotland, who is doing the policy work, and then have an influence on policies that will help and find new solutions to stop marine litter.
Thank you very much for your answer. And if anyone else has any other questions, please let me know. And also our friends online. You can also write your question in the chat.
And I just wanted to add, if someone have a question, not necessarily now, but afterwards, anybody is more than welcome to contact me. I added my email address on the presentation, so I'm always happy to answer if I can.
Yes, I personally will definitely email you. So I'm looking forward to getting in contact with you. And thank you very much for sharing this wonderful story from Shetland UNESCO Global Geopark. And since it seems there's no other questions, both online and here on site, I would like to move to our next presentation, which is from Lanzarote and Chinijo Island, UNESCO Global Geopark, and Island Geopark located in Spain. And they will share about their challenges and endeavors with underwater conservation. There will be a few minutes for questions at the end. And please turn now your attention to Elena's presentation from Lanzarote and Chinijo Islands, UNESCO Global Geopark.
Hello everybody, people from Oki Island. My name is Elena Mateo and I work as a geologist in Lanzarote and Chinijo Island UNESCO Global Geopark in Spain, in the south of Spain. First of all, I would like to thank the staff from Oki Island UNESCO Global Geopark for inviting me to this symposium. Okay. I would like to share my screen. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Hi. That's it. Okay. Today I am going to talk about the underwater treasures of geological interest in Lanzarote and Chinijo Islands UNESCO Global Geopark, the inventory and state of conservation. Carry out an inventory of underwater geosite has been a challenge for the Geopark staff since its beginning, and for a better knowledge of the states of geoconservation of the geosites is essential to join clubs and companies dedicated to diving. Okay, so first of all, I would like to introduce you where my geopark is located. Lanzarote and Chinijo Island is one of the 15 geoparks in Spain, and is one of the two in Canary Island. The another is El Hierro, that is another volcanic geopark. One of our characteristics from geographical point of view is our great proximity, as you can see, to the African continent, which greatly influences our climate, having a sub-arid type component. In this figure, you can see the limits of our geopark, in which there is a large part of underwater territory with a great geological wealth. Of a total of 2,500 square kilometers, about 1,600 square kilometers are under the sea, more than the terrestrial. But let me ask a question. How important is the ocean for my geopark, or the geopark Lanzarote and Chinijo Island? Well, it's very important for fishery resource, of course. Although in the last decades, and due to the agreements between Spanish and Moroccan states, fishing in Lanzarote has decreased considerably. It is an important economic resource, but not anymore. Of course, it's very important as a tourist resource, not only because of the tourists that visit us to enjoy the sun and beach, but also because of the practice of water sport, which is possible almost all year around because of our spring, our extended spring. You can see, and all kind of water sport. But we can consider that the ocean that surrounds us is very important. The most important because it is a source from which we drink the entire population of Lanzarote, thanks to the desalination of seawater. Sorry. Anecdotally, mentioned that in the 70s, Lanzarote had the first desalination plant in Europe, in all Europe, which allow, among other things, the development of the tourist sector, thanks of these desalination plants. So the answer to the previous question is that the ocean is very important for the geopark, and not only because of the above mentioned, also, which is very obvious, also because the geodiversity that contains. The commitments of the geopark with the ocean start thanks to the preparation of the application as a geopark. In 2013, work was carried out on the elaboration of a detailed inventory of terrestrial geosites, and for the first time, those found under the sea were taken into consideration because there are many geological treasures, as you can see, which in many cases are visited by divers who don't know their value. The identification of the underwater geological heritage is crucial for the development of the underwater geotourism. Before that, the divers only know about fish, but thanks of inventory of geosite under the water, the knowledge of the ecosystem was more. So, in the year 2014, an agreement between the Geopark and the Spanish Geological Service was signed to carry out an inventory of terrestrial and marine geosites, as you can see in this book. This study contributes to the knowledge of the submarine geology of Lanzarote and Chinijo Islands UNESCO Global Geopark, using direct methods which allow obtain information from the observation and analysis of outcrops. This is a map with the location of the underwater geosite. There are more than that. Okay. This is years later. And after solving many technical problems, we undertook for the first time the monitoring of the conservation status of these marine geosites. To do this, a group of experts was involved in conducting dives in the waters of the geopark. So there was a combination between scientists and divers. Once the immersion has been carried out, there were two tasks to do. First, filling in a file, like you can see, that included various parameters to take into account such as the existence of garbage, panels, natural or man-made damage, overexploitation, etc. Also included the conservation status of flora and fauna, so we can check if there are problems in the biodiversity also. And another very important one is obtain photographic resource for the various work of dissemination and conservation of our seabed for the geopark staff. We use these photos for many works in the geopark. Let me show some examples of these geosites and the photos that the divers took under the water. The first one is Puerto Viejo. It's in Chinijo Island. It's close to an islet that is not inhabited. In this geosite, it's possible to see sedimentary structures as parallel stratification and cross-bedding, and volcanic structures also, like bombs, lattice fragments, impact pits, and other features typical from this type of eruptions. Magma-water interaction can be observed. On the other hand, magmatic pyroclastics deposits have been eroded, displaying mushroom shapes typical from littoral environment. This is another picture from Puerto Viejo. Okay, you can see the stratification of the lapillis. Another one, coexisting fishes and rocks. Another one is, this is a mushroom, like I said before, forms like mushrooms. In el río, in the river, it's called the river because, but it's a salty water. It's the sea, the ocean, but it's a small corridor of water, and they call the river. Okay, in this geosite, it's possible to see sedimentary structures. The deposits are perpendicular to the present sea circulation. These rocky outcrops rise about 5 meters from the sandy bottom, like you can see with fishes. A great diversity of littoral erosive geoforms, columns, arcs, bridge, taphony, mushroom shapes, suggest that the sandy bar was exposed to a littoral environment. Scuba diving is spectacular here due to the combination between gea and life. But this is a protected area, and you can obtain a permission for scuba diving here. Another one from El River is in Montaña Clara Islet. It's a little islet called Mountain Clare. Another one is Las Gerardias. In this geosite, there are dikes, subvertical and formed valleys, walls of great development that constitute inverted reliefs, molded by the erosion of the hydromagmatic pyroclastic in which they were intruded. The orientation of these walls with respect to the sun generate shady areas which along this the productivity of the waters and the opening to the dominant currents make these rocky structures an ideal habitat to host a community of corals that are usually found at greater depth, the Anthozoa Gerardia savagia. This geosite also emphasizes the importance of the subvertical dikes that constitute the rocky habitats. In this place, we can see that the geological features influence the development of the corals. These corals normally is deeper, and in this case, thanks of the dikes, are more close to the surface of the water. More than Gerardias. Another one is amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. The corals, sorry, if you can see more, the corals in the subvertical dikes. Another one, the corals. Gerardias is a coral, is the scuba diving. And this is amazing. This is a very small islet in the northeast most territory in Canary Island. is, like you can see, it's deeply eroded and it's an hydromagmatic volcano in such a way that it shows its internal structure. You can see it's like the section of the volcano, the chimney and other parts of the volcano. You can see the internal structure, including some feeder digs. It's a lot of feeder digs. In deep, one of these digs contributes the wall of an underwater tunnel, about 100 meters long, that completely crosses the islet. There is a tunnel above the island that you can go from east to west. The basaltic dye is more resistant to erosion than the soft pyroclastic, so the volcanic deposit have been eroded, giving place to the formation of that tunnel that you can see. The main interest of this geosite is geomorphological, but also paleo-environmental, as well as biologic. Since life into the tunnel is also exceptional. This is another one, Puerto Moro. There are basaltic lavas from the Holocene eruption that form a progressive lava delta. There are another from caves. That is. Okay, another one is Jameo de Guatiza. Okay, Jameo is a word from Lanzarote that means a hole in the roof of the lava tube. It is a representative example of littoral erosive geoforms typical of low rocky cliffs carved on basaltic lava flows of A type. These flows are usually formed by two brecciate levels located at, as you know, as the top and the base, and a massive central area with columnar joints. Is clearly seen in this picture. The waves erode the base of the lava softer than the central part and undermine it, causing the collapse of the upper part. In this case, marine erosion has formed an elongate littoral cave. Another, this is the tunnel. Another picture of this tunnel. This is a very beautiful place. Puerto del Carmen is a littoral zone, a touristic zone, and it's one of the main as I say, is one of the main touristic area in Lanzarote. The submarine area is formed here by a marine platform developed on submerged subaerial lavas, where the coastal erosion, when the sea level was lower, modeled the lava flows, giving rise to a great diversity of geoforms that are frequently visited for divers, because it's so close to the resorts. Highlights include large underwater caves, erosive tubes, and mushroom-shaped monoliths. Again, these are the form, and this is a typical mushroom form shape. Okay, this is our treasure. This is an incredible place, the Atlantic Tunnel. The Atlantic Tunnel formed about 20,000 years ago, when the sea level was almost 100 meters below the current level, the last glacier stage. The lava corona volcano erupted. So the volcano developed this tunnel. The total tunnel is about 7.6 kilometers of length, and the last 1.6 kilometer is under the water. It's the most largest lava tube basaltic in the world. During the eruption, a large amount of very fluid lava emitted in a large volcanic tube of more than 7.8 in length 1.7 was developed with several subtubes at different levels and diameters, as you can see in this section. Okay, as you can see, the last is under the water. Since then, the sea level was rising and has left part of the tube, under which is known as the Atlantic Tunnel. Thus, within the submerged part, in addition to the typical structures of the volcanic tubes, cornice, terrace, lava fillets. This is the drop. As you can see, this is the typical lava form that form in subaerial atmosphere, but now it's under the sea. This is a mountain of sand, very curious. Another is important that you can see on the right half of the picture, on the right, there is the line of life that the submarine used for the expeditions that are very dangerous. There are another pictures of this lava tube. Another. This is a team from UNED. This is a university of Spain. And in conclusion, let's say the ocean is very important for the development of the geopark from many points of view: economic, natural, cultural, etc. With a complete monitoring of the state of conservation of the geosite, we also guarantee the conservation of marine biodiversity. The geopark requires a strategy that determines which geosite can become must without compromising the states of conservation. So that's it. I hope you like my presentation, and if you have some question, I am here. Bye.
Thank you so much, Elena, for your wonderful presentation and showing us so many beautiful pictures of Lanzarote. I am sure that everyone now wants to go there and explore those beautiful underwater landscapes by themselves. And now I open the floor. Yes, hello, Elena.
Hello.
So now we have some time for questions before we go on a break. So we have Professor Nakada with a question. Is it red? Can you try speaking?
Okay, thank you very much, Elena. I'm Nakada. So I'm very interested in your presentation. So very interesting underwater geosite. So the one important question is the conservation, related to the conservation. So this symposium titled Marine Debris Symposium. So if you have any headache to conserve your geosite under sea, so please show us some example how to clean up or how to maintain the cleanness of the underwater, the beauty. So, for example, today I did cleaning up a beach in Oki Island, I saw many fishing net they washed up on the beach. Too many things. And near the Lanzarote, many fishery the working is very historically developed. So I believe some waste from those the fishing the activity or some another many waste come from another island from Europe or Africa. So that please show us some example how you faced in your Geopark.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Thank you very much, Professor. I don't know if I understand very well, but yes, in case. We have a very big problem with the waste of the rest of Europe. They come with the streams, marine. So there are many collectives of people that made clean campaigns for this waste. Okay, we try in the Geopark to make many as we can do, many dissemination activities in the population, and that's it. I don't know if you are okay with my answers.
Yeah, my question is especially underwater geosite. So many divers have a chance to see some waste the ocean bottom. So is there any such marine debris on the ocean floor?
I think the problem is not under the water. It's in the shore face, in the coast. Not so many under the water. Under the water, maybe there is some problems with the boats, with the waste of the boats. But the principal problem is about the waste that is coming from the north of our island, from Spain, mainland, from England, from USA, because all the streams came to the shore. And I don't know if you realize that I have a question in the chat.
Yes, we have received one question in the chat from Ms. Nam from Hong Kong, UNESCO Global Geopark. Yeah. Thank you very much, Nam. And I will read it out and then ask Elena to answer. So the question is...
we have... I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yes, the question is, are there any difficulties in promoting diving to see the underwater geoheritage? For example, safety to dive in a long tunnel. How to let tourists appreciate and understand the geoheritage? That's the question.
Yes, we have, in our Geopark, we select some zones for diving. For example, in the tunnel, it's forbidden, but it's forbidden for many scientists. You have to go in this tunnel that is very fragile, very fragile, with a special permission. So it's a treasure for us. The Tunnel of La Atlantica is the longest lava tube underwater in all the world. So it's forbidden to recreative diving. So we try to show all the world the treasures of this tunnel, okay? It's forbidden to recreative diving, but there are a lot of zones that you can practice the diving. We try to show with exhibitions the treasures of the underwater geosites and publication also.
Thank you very much for your answer. And I would like to ask again if anyone else has any other questions or maybe comments from your own areas in Geoparks. You can also send, we have one question from Ms. Furusawa. So Isabella, could you give her your...
Where should I face? The camera is there. Okay. Hi, Elena.
Hola, Kana.
Okay.
Hola.
Hola. So thank you for your presentation. And I was not so clear with your answer. So any diving is forbidden, or is there any geosite tourists can dive? Can you clarify? And if
Yes. One is forbidden. That is the tunnel of the Atlantica. Okay, it's a very, very fragile ecosystem, and it's forbidden. It's a tunnel. Also, it's very dangerous. It's the most dangerous sport in the world. It's very dangerous to practice diving here because it's a tunnel and it's under the water, and it's forbidden. It's called Tunnel of La Atlántida. It's forbidden. And if you are a scientific, you have to say why, what are you going to do here? It's not for all, okay? Only Tunnel of La Atlántida. The another geosite, you can dive without any problems, okay?
Oh, okay, thank you. So with other geosite, how do you promote geotourism or sustainable tourism for visitors to have dive, or is it the only way people can enjoy the site? I mean, do we have to dive underwater to enjoy the geosite? Is it the only way? Are you clear with my question?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, Kana. Thank you for the question. We try to do many activities of dissemination. Like, for example, our last great activity was a very beautiful for me exhibition of all the submarine geosites. It's a big one, exhibition in many ports, marinas, and also we do many publications for in English and in Spanish for the tourism and for the best practice in tourism.
Thank you, Elena. It's so nice to have you here today. Thank you for participation.
De nada. Thank you for you.
Thank you, Elena, and thank you, Kana-san, for the question. And I think since we do not have any more questions in the chat and none in the hall here as well, we will now move on to our 10-minute break before we move forward to the next session. So the break will be until, in Japanese time, 5:06. So 18時5分まで休憩に入ります。And in GMT time, it will be until 9:05. So see you in 10 minutes.
Bye.